way through your property without a lease or anything, knowing that they'll get sued by the homeowner, knowing they'll lose in court, but the end result is they end up paying less in the lawsuit than what they would have paid if they bought a lease.
Oh, jeepers.
So the life is gone. And I was mentioning, the drugs come around because you have 1,000 workers there with money up the yin-yang in their pockets, and they're hanging out all night, and that's just fodder for the dealers to come in. And they find a market.
And other things, too.
As opioids are strong there as well. And it's not, and it doesn't do our grandchildren any good at all. When I was a child, the thought of buying water was a joke. You didn't buy water. What are you talking about, buy water? But now, who drinks from a spigot? And I am one person that will not have my grandchildren look at me as a criminal ancestor. Gas mask on. Pap, what did you do?
We all have an
obligation. We all have an obligation to help those yet to be born and our own grandchildren to do something. I don't care. Put a bumper sticker on your car. Send a letter to do something. Don't just stand up and talk about how you don't have to stand up. You're standing up. Except you're standing up for not having to stand up. So if you're standing up stand up for the right reason.
Was there any activist groups in the area that could have used some help?
When I first moved there, a bunch of us stopped a dam that the coal company was going to put in to filter their coal and devastate a Monongahela Indian village that was in the vicinity that would have been covered up. So we stopped them. And that was back in 78. Now, all those same hippies I call hypocrites because they've all sold out. They're all pooling their money for these wells. They're buying homes in Florida, and they've lost it. The bottom line is greed, and that lust for monetary wealth supersedes even the planet and our grandchildren's future. We used to depend on whale oil for energy. My God. But it didn't take long for us to realize that's not going to serve the increased energy needs, and it's going to kill the whales. Now we're on fossil fuels, which was a blessing, don't get me wrong, and we're all guilty. We all contribute to it, myself included. And the bottom line is, while we're still burning this fossil fuel, why aren't we being conscientious about it and putting solar panel factories on these MTR sites, these flat mountain, they wreck it and then they call reclamation, to reclaim it. And why don't we put solar panel factories on it, wind generation plants, build a technical school locally, hire the coal miners that are laid off to have safe, conscientious jobs as long as the wind blows and the sun shines on these mountaintop sites, ensuring that their children are being trained in local technical schools to install those equipment. It would be a wonderful. And the energy companies that do that will still be making a profit. They might not make their billions, but they're still going to make a profit. And the bottom line, why don't they care about it? What is wrong with that type of approach to our energy woes? It's just so sad to see that we'd rather continue this. We already have 5 times more fossil fuels than the planet can handle, and Exxon spends $100 million a day looking for more. It's incredible. The rest of the world is leaving us behind. We should be leading the alternative energy, and we're not. We got troops in and West Virginia, by the way, is the largest recruiting state in the nation. Why? Because coal is the only thing that's provided for the West Virginia folks. And because there is no coal now, the only thing that those folks have is the service. And the No Child Left Behind Act is such that the biggest string attached to the No Child Left Behind Act is that you have to allow recruiters in your school or you don't get funding. So where's the Peace Corps? How come the Peace Corps doesn't have to go in there? Or VISTA? Or AmeriCorps? Why is it just the military? So these children join, so they go to one of the 130-some countries that our military is in, and in some of those places we need troops. I love them. We need a strong military. I'm not against it. But we don't need them in over 130 countries protecting over 800 corporations' interests. We just define interest as American interest. We never define what that is. But Niger, what were our troops doing in Niger? It's the richest natural resource country in Africa. Enough said. We had 13 bases along the Caspian oil pipeline in Iraq. While their museums were being robbed and burnt and destroyed. It's not the coal boom. It's run aside. In fact, it's prompted me I organized a festival at Wheeling Jesuit University that compared the corporate occupation of Iraq and the corporate occupation of Appalachia. How they were one and the same by the same corporations in both areas for the same reason. In fact, there was a billboard in West Virginia of a soldier and a coal miner arm in arm. They're being used. The people and our sons and daughters were being used to provide opportunities for these corporations to succeed. And who benefits? The CEOs, the stockholders. While our sons and daughters, my son-in-law came back full of depleted uranium because we don't give a rat's ass whether they're tested for it, whether they're protected from it. 500 tons of it are sitting in the cradle of civilization where Jesus is born, and that's why we're there. The Iraqi women no longer ask if their son or daughter is a boy or a girl. They ask if it's normal. We got 500 tons in the Balkans, 500 tons in Israel, in Palestine. This is how we're dealing with our nuclear waste. The military complex is incredible. 70% of all total federal taxes in this country go directly to the military, plus $3 million to $4 million a day to Israel. Take 10-20% off of that, and we can provide health care for everybody. We can provide education, free education. Why aren't we doing that? Why isn't some of our representatives standing up for that common sense approach to government and energy?
I like that common sense approach to government. It's like,
yes,
and you mentioned energy earlier. You said
that
we needed to have this, but
we need energy. We need it, and we need it.
And you did an 1800. You did an 1800 style log cabin.
Yes, that's what I did. I restored log cabins. I restored the oldest log cabin in West Virginia, and
you miss it. I can already tell.
Oh yeah, our life was gone. We're refugees. I wake up every morning now in a real nice little brick house. It feels like I'm in a hotel every day. My life is gone. I built every square inch of that other place, and my wife and I both have master's degrees. We chose to live there for $10,000 to $15,000 a year, doing all kind of. I was a union steel worker, union form carpenter. I was a high school football coach. I was a wrestling official. I was a grave digger. I therapy with mental institutions. I was a family therapist, a marriage counselor. I can go on, and it's all because we were able to have that freedom of choice because of the way of life in Appalachia at the time.
That's a key point.
The key point is that you didn't have to rely on taking a job that paid the most, no matter if you liked it or not, because your bills are up there. No,
and you had your freedom and
we don't owe a dime to anybody. Never did. We have absolutely no credit because we paid for everything with $10,000 to $15,000. We were rich folks with no money, and that's how everyone lived there, and everybody was happy. Now the families are gone. The corporations own all the houses. And when they're done using the property for their right-of-ways or for their wells, then they have a giant auction selling off 25 properties that they previously bought off of people. Now you've got strangers that don't know anybody, and they're buying houses that have no basements, because they're cracked. The place it's going to hell in a handbasket. That'd be the biggest business in that area right now, would be a handbasket factory. So.
Well, I appreciate it. And again, your name is?
My name's Ron Teska, and feel free to tell what's his name.
Okay, will do.
Thank you.
What's his